to the top of the morning show and happy Tuesday, everybody. It's your girl TT from the D. I want to thank you for tuning in this morning in honor of October. Not only is my birthday in 2 more days, oh my God, I'm going to be talking about a couple things that society talks about quite often in October, and one of them being October serving as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Now, you might wonder to yourself, what month is domestic violence or domestic abuse? And that's October. And then it's like, oh, well, did you know? Here's a fun fact. Get you something pretty and purple. Wear purple, go purple, as they say, on October 17th. Everyone is encouraged to wear all things purple as a symbol of peace, courage, survival, honor, personal dedication to the awareness month. Okay. There are statistics on top of statistics on top of statistics. And I have to say that the National Child Traumatic Stress Center, well, network, I should say, does something in October for their victims and their survivors, regardless of their color, their age, their gender, as far as, like race, religion, background, where they really, really come together and they help them in a different way. And I had talked a little bit yesterday about, I didn't really go in depth about it, but how from the book that I'm a co-author on, Mind and My Own Healing, I am what they call a domestic violence child survivor. And you might say, what? Yeah. See, what people don't realize when it comes to domestic violence, that when you have a child or children, they are being shown and sometimes abused too. They learn, or we learn, to live in fear. We learn to muffle our mouths as far as keeping things to ourselves. And the list goes on and on. There are so many cases of domestic violence that's on social media that is unbelievable. So many young people have lost their lives to domestic violence. And it's crazy. It's alarming. I will tell you, it's crazy. I could start. I mean, it's not only in the US and other countries as well. It's not just an American thing, right? And you wonder why people even commit domestic violence. Where do they learn it from? And then you might say, well, why don't they just leave? If I was them, I'd just leave. Then some of y'all think it's just women in domestic violence relationships. And it's not. It's not. I remember walking in a domestic violence walk-a-thon, if you would, where they walked and they talked about that. And they said, do you think that it's just women? And we're like, yeah. And when you saw this big guy come up to the podium and speak, you couldn't have told me that he was going to get up there and talk about being violated, that he was being abused by his then ex-girlfriend. We don't address the fact that a lot of the domestic violent relationships turn into fatalities. You have a lot of people that don't report because they don't want to lose their child, right? Or children. They don't want to go through these, you know, reliving what they have to go off and talk about, what they have to share. And let me be clear, as I said, I want to make sure I'm very, very clear. Men and women experience domestic violence. And it's not always physical. You could also have mental, you could have emotional, you could have spiritual. And I know you're like, what? Yeah, you can, right? It could be financial abuse because a lot of women go through economical abuse. Their spouse is like, well, I'm not going to give you no money if you don't do this, if you don't do that. And I know that for firsthand that someone I know, I love dearly, is very close to me, went through that with her husband, where it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to give you any money for this, or I'm not going to give you any money for that if you don't do this, if you don't do that. And normally it was if you don't do something sexual. And you might be saying, well, if this is your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your significant other, like your husband or wife, then they shouldn't have to. Well, if that isn't who you are and that's not how you are, then sometimes you might find yourself in that situation or that predicament, and then they realize like, oh, I'm the social provider, I'm the financial survivor, I should say, right? So if I don't give you this money to do this and do that, then you're not gonna be able to do it. If I have you in this position where I'm taking care of the house, I'm taking care of you, I'm taking care of the child, I'm taking care of the children, whatever that looks like, and you can hold that over their head, then they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do what I say and when I say and how I say." Right? And it can look different for many people. It could get so bad in a financial abuse relationship. That person is monitoring what you spending on. Well, I gave you this and you bought this, that, and the third. It's like, what? And y'all be surprised. That's why I said domestic violence is not always physical. There is the mental part. There is the spiritual. There is the emotional. There is this such thing as financial abuse. And then it's crazy when you bring your family members into it. And for those of you that have sons and your son is doing this and you're okay with it, or you're the reason why they do it, shame on you. Your son is supposed to be the leader, the head of the household. His wife or a significant other should be able to look to him for guidance and leadership, not fear or any of that other stuff that comes with that. We have to do better when we know better. What do you do when you know someone is in a domestic violence relationship? What do you do? Who do you tell? Especially when you know, like, oh, they're probably going to go back or they're going to get mad, right? You can have a conversation with them, but I'll tell you this. They don't leave until they're ready. Okay? They have to be ready. Now, a normal person might say, oh, I don't think so. And then you might be like, oh, so you're not normal. I ain't saying that. But I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm not. And I don't know if I watched enough Burning Bed to be like, yeah, no, you're not about to be beating the brakes off of me. No, 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 don't want to. Watched it growing up. Watched it growing up, recognizing the signs, saw what it. Yeah, nah, I'm good. I'd rather be all by myself, all by myself. But a lot of times we don't listen. We know a little bit here, a little bit there, but we don't know. And then we quick to say, well, I didn't see it. I don't know. Right? Or they probably lied. Who would lie about something like that? But if you know someone or suspect someone is in a domestic violence relationship, and remember there's several different ways to consider a relationship domestic violence filled, ask them what do they need, especially when you know something's not right. Right? I do know someone that's close to someone who had a relative who was like, "Hey, you getting abused and beat on? Come over here and I'm gonna keep you safe here." And and don't you know that crazy husband went over there, kicked in the door, killed the friend, thought he killed his wife, didn't bother the children. Thank God for that. Shot his wife too, and she played dead. This is a real life story. This ain't no make believe. This is not nothing I seen on social media. This is what I know to be fact and was told directly to me. And I'm like, oh my God, how does that friend go on and live knowing that their friend is no longer here because they tried to be a friend? I'm like, wow, wow, wow. That's all I could say was, wow, right? I don't want to take us too hard, too deep, and too wide or too long. But there's people that's hurting out here, y'all. Like literally hurting. And we may not know what to say, what to do, and that's okay. All we can do is be there for them. So if they're ready, when they're ready, however they're ready, we can show up when they need us. Well, that's all I have for you this morning. I'm going to give you this scripture. You can unpack it however you like and study yourself, the word, and break it down. It comes from 2 Corinthians 12:9, and it reads as follows: My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Again, that's 2 Corinthians 12:9, and it reads as follows: My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Well, that's all I have for you on this Tuesday morning. Join me tonight for Tapping on Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can find us over on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, of course, as I said, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Promise you it's Eastern Standard Time. Until the next time we leave footprints across the sun, it is your girl, Titi from the D, and I'll see you soon.